Hey guys, Dr. Decks here. Thanks for coming to our channel. Today I want to show you a couple of different ways that we space decking before we install it down to the deck. Before we screw it down or hidden fasten it or however we're putting the boards down, there's a couple different deck board spacing methods that we use. And a new one that just came to market is called the deck divider. And what this product is, it's a series of rolling spacers that attach to a standard Irwin clamp, and they roll back and forth on a set of ball bearings. So they're multiple width spacers that go in between the deck board cracks, and they are spaced at 3/16 of an inch. That's what we use common for all of our deck board gaps. So I've set up a mock-up here to kind of show you a couple different methods. Our standard traditional method that I've been using for 20 years, and then this new fandangled method. You can also play with it and make nice noises. And if you don't have the setup yet for what we're doing, you might consider maybe this is your ticket, or maybe you want to just go with our traditional method, but we'll talk about the benefits here as we get into it. So what we have here are two different clamps set up. One's the deck divider and one's our traditional deck spacer method. These deck spacers are made by a company called Deckmate. These are AZEK branded, TimberTech branded spacers. You can get them on the TimberTech webpage. One side has a 3/16 inch gap, and the other side has an 1/8 inch gap. So this side is thinner than this side. We normally don't space anything 1/8 of an inch. We usually give it a little more gap than that. So depending on your needs or your desires or what your manufacturer recommends for deck board spacing will determine what you do. For most of our deck installs, it's always a 3/16. So we're always putting the 3/16 gap down. So what we do is we put in our deck board spacers, and then we have a clamp system. Now this is an Irwin clamp. Now this is the old Irwin deck adapters clip, the deck adapter clips that they used to sell. They no longer sell them. So there's a guy named Deckmaster J on Instagram that makes these 3D printed clamp adapters that you can purchase they're for DeWalt or Irwin style clamps. I happen to have heavy duty Irwin clamps with like the I-beam style clamp. These are the heavy duty ones, and they fit right on. You put a couple of bolts through, you pre-drill and bolt through a couple bolts that he supplies with the kit. And then that acts like a tab that sits in between the decking, and then you can compress. So basically this is the old style Irwin spacers that you can no longer purchase, but I have a bunch of them because back in 2017 when they were on the shelves, I saw these and freaked out, and I bought everything I could at every Lowe's location within a 25-mile radius of my house. And then shortly after that, they quit selling them, except in Australia. Everybody wanted them, so people from Australia were sending me these kits. So thank you very much, all you Australians that sent us additional clips that clip onto these clamps. You have to make a small modification on them to make them fit. This particular tool was not designed to fit on this clamp, so I had to take a grinder and grind away part of the plastic so that this metal clip could adapt through and clip onto this clamp. But this is really one of the best ways to cinch something tight to keep your gaps equal and consistent all the way through. So you're asking, okay, doctor, what's the deal? You've got this tool here versus this tool here. Obviously, you're gonna be less money into this system right here. But let me show you the time-consuming part of this. The first thing is, okay, let's just say you're starting this deck. The first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna put all your spacers in between. Make sure all the 3/16 are down. There's probably been 60 times in my career where somebody's put this side down and we've clamped it and screwed it off, and then I went back and looked at the line and said, man, who put the wrong spacer side down? They should really make these two colors or something, but anyway, not my problem. All right, just pay attention to what you're doing, right? So now that you have your spacers, you have to have enough spacers. Like if you're doing a 20-foot deck, you're gonna have 10 rows of clamps. If you want to do 5 boards at a time and you want to do a full 20-foot deck without having to move spacers and clamps, then you're going to have like 10 clamps and 25 to 30 spacers, you can see these get broken. You walk over them, you trip over them, you crack them, that kind of thing. So usually not the 3/16 side because it's tucked down safely in the deck, but the other side is gonna get broken occasionally. Okay, so once you have your spacers in, then you go ahead and cinch up your clamp nice and tight. Then the spacers become snug, and then you're ready to fasten that line, okay? So with this system, it's very similar in thought. You have your adapter clamp, your adapter's on the ends, and then you set that in, and then you just take these and roll them into place like so. And you do the same thing. Once you're to the end, you set it all together. You're happy with the layout. Then you cinch your clamps together, and this acts as your spacer. And as long as you have equal gaps and you're happy with the fit, you go ahead and fasten the deck down. You can do that quickly with Cortex or a hidden clip that you can screw through the cracks. Usually hidden clips have a built-in spacer, but sometimes I still like to use this method to make sure that my gaps are equal, because sometimes even those clips, you can over tighten one, you can keep one a little too loose, and then you have an unequal gap. This way, I know that all my gaps are very close. You're still gonna make micro adjustments on a 20-foot run. You're gonna look down the line, you're gonna use a string, or you're gonna use your eyesight, and you're gonna realize, hey, we've got a crown or we've got a bow in this deck, and we need to straighten it out. So instead of using these, you might have to add a little bit extra shim in this one. You can just leave this in place and still put a shim in here and make a fatter gap here if you really need to, okay? But anyways, so back to this. So now this is tight and you screw it off. Okay, so here's the time-saving part of using the deck divider system versus this other homemade system, we'll call it, that I've been using for many years. Once you're done and the deck boards are fastened and you're ready to move on, you can pull the clamp, you just pick the clamp up, all your spacers are still attached, and you just go to the next set. Even if this clamp is still clamped, everything's nice and tight, you can still pull it out of the deck and go. These aren't all over the place. With this system, you have 20 spacers you gotta collect. So we'll go ahead and collect these. Oops, I dropped them. And you put them in your bin, or you move them forward. Some of them aren't gonna wanna come out because they're really tight and you just can't physically manhandle them out. So then you gotta go get a pry bar or something and pry this out to get these out. It's something that we're accustomed to and we do often, so it's not that big a deal to us. When you repeat that hundreds and hundreds of times, you can see the time savings stack up after using these for a while. So that's the new technology that's coming out. It's called the Deck Divider. They have a web page. We'll put a link in the description below. And you can also find them on Instagram. So check them out. You're basically buying these parts right here, and which is what these are. You're gonna buy these parts, and then you have to buy the clamps separately and adapt the clamps over. You're gonna have to pop some pins out of the clamp. Basically what you do is you take this side off and you pop this pin out so that you can slide all the clamps on, and then I put the pins back in. Some people don't. This way these don't come flying off. We basically dedicated these clamps to these tools, and then you just put this back on, and it's basically like a stopper to know where to put the end of the clamp. All right, guys, so just for full discrepancy here, the Deck Divider actually sent us these tools to test, so we didn't pay for them. So I don't know how much they are at the time of this shooting of this video, but we'll probably drop a price below and let you guys know by the time we edit this video how much they are. I have my feelers out to find out. These have a full stainless steel ball bearing system in them. I think they're going to be changing that as well. I'm not 100% sure. To be honest, it's nice that they roll so fast and evenly, but I don't know if it's mandatory. It seems like a good product. We're going to keep using them and see what we think of them. You know, we'll get a few decks down. If you like this video, or if this video helped you at all, or gave you some good information, don't forget to click that subscribe button, hit the bell icon to be notified when we're putting out new content, and don't forget to like those shorts. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.